Here we go. First league match of the week versus xBastoo on Narset. Same colors. They go first. It's a difficult matchup for combo versus control because they have enough interaction to keep our pieces from doing much. We have Paladin class, which is great. We have Idyllic Tutor to find our other combo pieces, but we have no blue mana, so I'm going to have to mulligan this. Otherwise, it's a great hand. If Ryle, for example, was a blue mana, this might be a keep. We could Paladin class on one, then we can consider the next turn. But as is, it's just not enough. Here we have all of our colors, but we have none of our pieces, and a bit of a slow hand. So this is going to be another mulligan. Here we have one of our combo pieces, but only two of our colors. It's going to be another mulligan. Here we have all of our colors. We have a combo piece. Going to have to put away Fnell and probably Relic. Although it's unfortunately a really slow hand, as we have two tap lands. Bergie gives us a final a combo piece. Alright, so here we go. We've got two of our mana doublers. We have no draw spells at the moment. If we get a land next turn, that's great. Not a land. We're going to have a really slow opening, which is not good versus a control deck. We also don't have blue, which is a problem. Although with Bergie and Stormkill Artisan, we should be fine. We have our third land, and I think what I'll do here is I'll shock it in, and I'll play Mind Stone just so that they can't use Censor or Jawari Disruption and get free value if they have either one of those. We'll pass turn. So we've got all our colors now. We've got two mana doublers. We've got a draw spell. So we have to see what we do, how we play this out. Are they going to... Okay, yep. We'll go ahead and we'll draw off of that. So if we don't draw a land next turn, we're going to play Valak Awakening as a land. And we are a combo deck, so we don't really care what they play. Narset, that's fine. They get Narset out. They're going to be able to remove probably whatever we play next turn. Alright, Defense Grid is great. That is a card we love to see. So we're going to play this as a land. And then we're going to put out Defense Grid. It's actually a great card in this matchup. It's going to make all their counter spells ridiculously expensive. And then we have to see what we draw next turn. Again, we don't mind so much what they play. We're probably going to get to Ultimate Narset, but that should be okay, because the 2 damage won't deal with any of our creatures. Alright. Here we are. We've got 5 mana. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana up. So they could play Tail's End. They could play another counter spell. Here are our options. This is an enchantment, so it's not going to trigger Kykar. We can play Bergie for 3, and then play out Dragon Mantle on Bergie, but that doesn't get us anything, and it opens Bergie up to removal. The best thing to do here might be to try and play Horn of Harfell with Bergie, which gives us card draw, although it is a legendary artifact, so it would also get pinged by Tail's End. Alternatively, we could play out Kykar and eat the counter, and then next turn play out Horn of Harfell. They're going to Ultimate Narset. That doesn't bother us. Question is, what do we want to play out? I think what we want to do is we have to try and go a little bit longer, so we need to eat the counter spell with Kykar, and then hopefully we can try and resolve next turn Harnfell, and that will give us the card advantage we need. That's fine. Memory Lapse. So do we want to draw Kykar? Not really. We'd much prefer to draw a land or a spell. They can go ahead and ultimate Narset if they want to. Again, we're not too concerned because it does not die to 2 damage. This does, Stormkill Artisan does, but hopefully we can get at least some treasures out of it. And they're not, interestingly, going to do that. Teferi's Ageless Insight. Okay. Well, this is great. This gives us a turn that we can potentially go off on. Very ballsy from the opponent here, because they, unless they have, okay, so, we can play out Harnfell here, we can play out Kykar here, I think we can also play out Bergie, and then the 1 draw lets us play out Stormkill and Artisan. So this is the risky line. We play out Bergie for 3. We play out Dragon Mantle. And we try and get 4 mana, because that only gives us 3 for Stormkill and Artisan. The less risky play is we do this. We play Harnfell for 5, and then we pass turn. Now we can gain card advantage, which is going to be great. We can potentially go off. Yep, that's fine. Do 2 damage to whoever you want. We are more interested in comboing off than 2 damage. Ideally, they'll tap out for something big. That's fine. Again, we're not worried about damage. We just want to go off.
You want to go, tough guy?
So the best thing that we can do is draw into some spells that let us, let's see, Supreme Will. Oh, are you going to cast it? No. Okay. So you have something you're holding up that will let you give us a hit. Okay. So let's go ahead and discard Dragon Mantle. This is potentially very good. We can shock in Steam Vents, play Stormkill and Artisan, and then start generating some tokens, but even better would be perhaps Whirlwind of Thought, as again it gives us great card advantage. Let's go ahead and brainstorm, start drawing. So we will put these 2 in our library. We want to draw neither of those, so we can go ahead and exile one of them. That should be fine. We can tap out here. The land gives us another Harnfell target. They need on-stack interaction. This is starting to get to a point where it's really scary for them because we have plenty of lands. We have defense grid up, so if they don't have combo, they're going to be in trouble. So this one goes into our hand, and we're going to just get rid of the land. That's fine, we don't need that. So we can potentially go off on Stormkill and Artisan next turn. If they have something, okay, that's a lot of mana. If they can deal with our enchantments and our artifacts, that's going to be trouble. But we will see what they do. We have now, yep, that is trouble. So what do they have? Artifacts, enchantments, graveyards. That is exactly the card they needed. That was going to be difficult for us. But let's see what we can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can play Stormkill the Artisan if they have no counters. Neutralize, that's fine. We can still play Pirate's Pillage. Discard that, draw here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's getting to the point where Chandra and Narset may kill us. That farewell was big for them. That was the worst thing for us. That's fine. I don't think we risk dying this turn, but we're going to have to go off next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with Kykar. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. We have one draw for free. We would love to be able to play Pirate. So it really depends what they have in hand. We could also first Finale of we could crash through Finale of Promise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so if they counter this, that's probably a good game for us. Okay, so we have 4 mana available. Let's see what we can do. Start here. This is a free card. Soul Partition. So, still takes 6. We'll get down a Dragon Rage Channeler, and a Shivan Reef, just to have the mana up next turn. And this may be our last turn, because if they minus Chandra, yeah, this is probably it. Good game.
There's no problem. Fire. Let me help you practice.
Oh yeah, that's it. 5, 6, 7. Alright, so that is why Control is our hardest matchup. We got unlucky that they found Farewell, the one card that really would have screwed us over in the top, but that happens. And let's go to game 2. And here we go into game 2. Again, versus Control, it's tough for us because they have enough interaction and setup, but we'll see what we can do. So here we have all of our colors. We have a slow hand, but we can search for mountain or plains. Still is a bit slow, but we can get Burgi with this hand, so I think we will go ahead and keep it. Let's go ahead and search up a mountain or a plains here. We could also search up an island, just to have more available, but I think we're going to go for let's go for plains. A blue source on turn 2 would be ideal, but it's not going to happen. Ooh, Cathartic Reunion. We could use here to bin maybe Synthesizer and See the Truth. That's a great draw. Strike it rich next turn. Or we could search for Glory for Burgi. We could solve the equation. Let's see, if we solve the equation, we're getting basically another card like that. I think for the moment we want to do this, and pass the turn, see what they play. We could Consider up, or we can cycle Forgotten Cave. That works too. Let's see, do they have a counter? Oh, okay, that works. So, we can go ahead and play this out. Now, we can strike it rich, see if they counter that. They might. They do not, and then we can pass the turn and cycle Forgotten Caves on their turn. Harmonic Prodigy gives us ways to start making mana already. They tap out next turn. We could possibly go off, depending on what we draw. If we draw land, for example, we could potentially go off. But they say no, that's not going to happen. So we can start forcing some counters from their hand. Chance for Glory is nice here. Let's see, so we can search for Glory to get, we can solve the equation, or we can search for, let's see, we have a lot we can do on this turn. Some of what makes combo so fun and why it's fun to play in the league. We search for Glory, we get Bergie, we could also potentially get the Weatherlight Complicated, which would let us start going off with the draw. We could solve the equation to look for any number of cards. Chance for Glory is definitely great here. It lets us start going off if they try and remove one of our creatures and we think we have a guaranteed win next turn, like if we get Harmonic Prodigy down and they go for removal on their turn, it potentially lets us outright win. If we search for Glory, I think we do want to get Weatherlight Complicated, so let's see what happens first. If they counter this, since we have Prodigy, we could also get Bergie and potentially have the double mana doublers up. But Weatherlight Complicated is just such a nice option to have. If they countered this, if we had drawn a land, we might go Chance for Glory, because that lets us play Kykar and Harmonic Prodigy into a Rile and have a blue up, and then we can solve the equation and start going off that way. But given that we didn't draw a land, that makes it a bit difficult. Are they going to counter this? We have to see. Are they going to draw? We have to see. Okay. So here's the question. We can get the Mox, but we have Rile, so we don't really need the Mox, because if we have Kykar and Prodigy or Kykar and Bergie, then we can start going off. What we really want here, though, is card advantage. So we're going to go ahead and get Weatherlight Complicated and pass turn. We could try and play Harmonic Prodigy here, drawing out a counter. Might be interesting, but I prefer, I think, to wait until I have Chance for Glory, see what they'll do on their turn. So we have card advantage, we have mana doubling, we have an extra turn, we have selection, and we have a way to start the combo off. Now we just need to land it, and that's the hard part versus control. Alright, if they tapped out now, that would of course be ideal. But there's no way they're going to tap out. They know if... okay, so we have the Triome. Okay, we can start trying to set up now. We can Kykar this turn. If they counter it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we could still play it next turn. I think we should go ahead and solve the equation. We don't play Pact, but this is okay. That's great. That gives us a counter spell. So now this is where it gets interesting. We could potentially Chance for Glory here. We play Kykar for 4, Harmonic Prodigy for 2, Ryle. So we go 1, 2, 4 for Kykar, 2 for Harmonic Prodigy, Ryle, that gets us 2, Weatherlight Complicated gets us 2, and then we sort of have to pray, and that might be fun to do. And that's kind of the point of this deck, so let's see. We can either do it now or not at all. Alright, another land is great. So we can go ahead and play. How do I want to do this? Weatherlight, being able to play Weatherlight Complicated first gives us some insight as to what's on the top of our deck. And let's go ahead and see what we can do. Tormenting Voice. Not what we want. This might be a loss, that's okay. It's the excitement of this deck, Cold Steel Heart, not what we want. Let's go ahead and set up our draw. We want a 1 mana or 2 mana spell that's in red, Ancestral Anger. Okay, that works. We are going to see if we can go off. So let's go ahead and give this to Harmonic Prodigy. Full control. Go ahead. Again, we're looking for ideally something we can play with our red mana. We're going to have access to 4 red mana. Warlord's Fury, that works. That draws us another card. And go ahead. Sacrifice. Draws. Okay. Sacrifice. That draws. So we really need... Ah! And that's it. That's a good game. So close.